Thanks, everybody, for being here. We just had FBI Director Wray. He's testifying in front of the House Permanent Select Intelligence Committee. This is very important. The FBI must respond to our congressional oversight. We have seen time and time again, going on for years at this point, that the FBI ignores congressional oversight requests, and we will continue to assert our constitutional responsibility to make sure that we deliver transparency to the American people as well as accountability. This is something that I know very well, whether it was serving on the Intelligence Committee during the very politicized reign under Adam Schiff and the important oversight work of the FBI then, or most recently, important to my district, we had the deadliest vehicular crash in decades, and the FBI, it took my aggressive oversight to demand a briefing, an investigation, and ultimately the families and victims brief. So we have a long, many-year, multi-faceted effort from my office and committees, but you continue to see the stonewalling from the FBI. That has to stop. This is a step in making that stop, but we are going to continue to assert our congressional authority. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Chairman, you're on the weaponization subcommittee that's all about looking at parts of the federal government that's weaponized. Did your concerns about these claims of alleged weaponization come up in this meeting today? You know, you've been very outspoken in your support for the former president, particularly since his indictment. Did that come up today, and how are you addressing that in front of the FBI director?
Well, certainly it did come up today. I think every American is concerned when the Durham report was finally released, and that was long awaited. We need to make sure that that never happens again, that the politicization within these agencies is rooted out at its core, and that starts with the leadership, making sure that the leadership ensures that there's accountability. So certainly I raised that issue. We're going to continue raising that issue, both in open hearings as well as closed hearings.
So Senator Grassley just came to the floor. He talked about the fact that the 1023 that lawmakers saw was still redacted as far as the 1023 that was seen last week. Also, he talked about these recordings by the foreign national that was referred to in this 1023. And I was wondering whether or not that A, if this 1023 will be made public, and B, if these recordings that Senator Grassley talked about, will those be made public in the near future?
Well, certainly I stand by both Senator Grassley and Chairman Jamie Comer's exceptional oversight work. Senator Grassley has been on these issues for years, and so has Jamie Comer. I'm going to let Chairman Comer take the lead on any announcements in terms of our fight to make sure that there's redactions, as well as making these transparent to the American people. But we fully support, the House Republican Conference fully supports all of our efforts for accountability and transparency. And Chairman Jamie Comer is doing an exceptional job shining light on the corruption of Biden's family and the President of the United States himself.
Did Section 702 and abuses from that? I know you guys have issued concerns. Did that come up at all, and did the FBI director address any of those concerns?
It's one of our top concerns, going back to Operation Crossfire Hurricane, the egregious FISA abuses. It absolutely needs to be addressed. Americans agree with us that it needs to be addressed. It's the politicization and weaponization of government at its worst, and in many ways it's the epitomization of that. So, yes, it's something that we're very focused on. Obviously, it's something that all the House Republicans are focused on to address the misuse and the illegal acts, I believe, that were committed in terms of some of the FISA applications that were wrongfully submitted in the past.
Chair Elise Stefanik, you mentioned Comer, and of course not your committee, but just a tangential idea. Last week, the Oversight Committee came close to holding Wray in contempt, or holding a vote to hold Wray in contempt. Did that come up at all in today's meeting?
It shouldn't take a threat of contempt to have responses from federal agencies. We, as members of Congress, on behalf of the American people, it is our constitutional responsibility to have oversight. They need to respond. This is stonewalling year after year. It shouldn't take a contempt. That is a tool in our toolkit, and I know the Speaker will not hesitate to use it if these agencies do not turn over the documents. And it's not just the FBI. Look at the Department of State. Look at Secretary Blinken's refusal initially to turn over the information, for example, to Chairman McCall regarding the Afghanistan withdrawal cables. Ultimately, that took a contempt threat. So we will make sure that we use every tool in our congressional toolbox to demand responses from these agencies. I'll take one more question.
Did Director Wray respond to the allegations that you've made that there's a two-tiered system of justice in this country?
I believe Director Wray understands that we on this committee have very deep concerns about the two-tiered justice system that we have right now. That if your last name is Biden or your last name is Clinton, you get to live by a different set of rules than Americans who are targeted simply because they're patriotic Americans who happen to be Republicans. Thank you very much, everybody.
Quickly, you can walk in.